welcome to the Barnacle Inspiration Series, the show where we spotlight barnacles from across the community to inspire you. So today I want to take a look at 3 really cool barnacles and just showcase some of the awesome textures, techniques, and just any other kind of clever ideas that have been used in some of these barnacles so that we can inspire you and maybe just wow you as well. It's always cool to see some really solid barnacles out there. So let's start off with the first barnacle today. This one is by Wikipedia, and it's simply just called Barnacle. Pretty straightforward, simple name, makes sense. So this is certainly not a load of barnacles here. This is, I think, really great. It's nice to see a bit of kind of part spamming being used here. This kind of repeated use of, I'm not actually sure what the piece is called, but this sort of shell-like part that almost looks like little mouths or something. I think it's quite impressive. And I think it's also nice to see this kind of focus on textures throughout this barnacle here. There's a great use of I don't know, they kind of really pop up against these sort of rocks here. I think that's a bit of fun, so that's cool. Let's move over to the second barnacle now. This here is by Hakai Magazine, and this is whale barnacles. So I think it's cool to see, I guess, kind of a bit of Garmatoran or Tour of Water inspiration here. We can see some barnacles being attached onto a rahi here, which is really cool. It's a little bit of fun to add in a little addition like that, just a few barnacles on the back there. And I mean, you could easily add those onto your own barnacles as well. So it just kind of really makes it pop, doesn't it? Kind of adds in that little extra detail. Now, the size of this guy was actually quite massive. And I mean, building big and it can be a bit more of a sort of larger investment, but it's really worth it. I mean, look how beautiful this looks here. So, yeah, size does matter sometimes. So, hey, if you can afford it, make it work. I'm putting a few barnacles on it. Beautiful detail. On to the final barnacle today, we have this one here from Story Trender. And this is Basketball Barnacle. Now, this one has a pretty cool backstory behind this barnacle here, so I'll read out what it says here. It says, Barnacle Ball. Fishermen fear they found floating human head in the ocean, but discover it's a basketball beautifully covered in hundreds of barnacles. I always like to see a little bit of humor packed into people's barnacles, but I think this is really impressive. I mean, we always enjoy seeing barnacles that are a little bit more kind of outside the box here on the Barnacle Inspiration Series. I think this is certainly one of them. Maybe next time you want to build one of your own barnacles, maybe do something a bit like this, just a little bit weird, a little bit unexpected, just more of a unique out there idea. It's not on a rahi, it's not just a solo barnacle, not even a baraki barnacle or anything like that, no. It's just something a little bit more out there and different, a little bit creative, a little bit weird, a little bit exciting. That's always fun to see. So, a lot of fantastic barnacles today on the Barnacle Inspiration Series, and I hope you enjoyed. And by all means, if you want to look at any of the other stuff that these people have done, be sure to check the links in the description. You can see all the barnacles and more there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Happy April Fools. If you didn't get it by now, I don't know what to tell you. It's just a little joke. It's a little fun time. But I'm not just going to leave you there. I'm going to actually showcase some sort of Bionicles, I don't know, some Bionicle barnacles this time. Just 3 aquatic mocks. I will, of course, have a normal bis this Saturday, Sunday, whatever time I'd post it. I'm not sure yet, probably Sunday. But sure, why not? Let's look at some of these actual aquatic life mocks today. First one we have is by Lockie, and I swear this is a Bionicle. And it is this is called Papakaka. I can pronounce all the barnacle stuff, but not the Bionicles. Paka. So I like this because it kind of has barnacles. It's probably sand, but we'll pretend it's barnacles just to have it fit. It was really hard to find barnacle mocks. I was really hoping I could. I was like, surely that pun has already been done. No one's done it from what I could see. So if you're looking for some ideas, there you go. Hopefully the barnacles actually gave you more inspiration than the Bionicles. Anyway, this uses a Vaki canister lid. I love it. I love seeing canisters being used on mocks. There's something about that that's just really, really cool. And I love too the sort of the one that actually has legs and claws and stuff like that, and the other one that's sort of just like the shell and little eyes poking out there in between the sand or barnacles, whatever you want it to be. That's a really fun idea. So I love that. Really nice part use. Great to see those little eyes there that look perfectly like that of a crab of sorts. It's really, really cool. I will keep this episode a little bit shorter, so let's move over to the next mark now. This is by the _double, and this is Sea Scorpion. She says this is actually a reimagining of one of the 1998 Aquazone sets of the same name, so that's pretty cool. What I like about this is kind of the color scheme and also just sort of like the textures of like the back and stuff. There's something about it that reminds me of some of the creatures from the video game Subnautica. Sort of the kind of like bioluminescence of it, the really kind of like popping beautiful colors, and just this sort of like slightly deadly looking kind of creature that looks like you probably don't want to tangle with it. I don't know, it's really nice to see a sort of aquatic creature that has also has those sort of scorpion vibes, but is also just kind of really different. You know, there's a lot of crazy weird aquatic creatures out there in the real world, especially here in Australia. So it's just cool to just, you know, see an example of that. It's really nice. These colors pop. They're beautiful as well. The trans green, the red, the gray, the black. It's awesome. It almost reminds me of Ogle from Alpha Team as well. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I love this here. I think it's just a really distinct, unique creature. Because sure, you could build a turtle, you could build a fish, you could build a lobster or whatever. But I don't know, it's just nice to see something really drastically different in that sense here. So I love the colors, love the texture on the back there as well. There's something about that looks sort of more like some sort of like kind of crunchier carapace from some sort of crustacean of sorts. But also just, I don't know, looks a little bit more sort of like the kind of textures you would expect to see on something from the oceans there. So I adore this. Very, very cool. On to the final mock now. This is a crustacean, or Château de I'm not even going to try. I'm sorry, Patrick Biggs. You've made a fantastic mock. I'm not going to try and butcher that name. But this is great. I love the idea of instead of a shell, he's got like a castle on the back there because, well, you know, crab has, you know, lives in the shell. It's kind of its home. Makes sense that it would be an actual home or more of a chateau like this here. Very cool. So a really, really nice sort of, lobstery hermit crab here, more of a hermit crab. I love the use of the Praetorian Guard armor pieces there for the sort of front of the claws there. That's awesome. The larger sort of tubing that we saw on like the Toamari and a fair few different sets in red there is perfect for some of the sort of whatever you call the front of the hermit crab there. I don't know. I know I just sort of did a little bit of research on barnacles, but I can't promise you I know a lot about my anatomy of different fish and things, yeah. I like the mask too, using the Ferno helmet piece there and then just shoving all these different pieces into some of the gaps there. That's really cool. And it works well. It really blends with the rest of the textures here and just is perfect. And some lovely system additions here too on this sort of brick-built rocky castle here as well. Very, very, very cool. So yeah, just wanted to briefly touch upon a few actual aquatic life creature-based mocks so that you weren't just getting the April Fool's joke. But I hope you had a laugh. I hope you had a good time. That's it for this little extra special, very short episode of Biss. We'll see you next weekend for the proper episode. Happy building and bye for now.